Hello everybody, today we are coming at you from the outside world, and today we're going to talk about strength training and training for running without actually doing running, and a lot of things that can help your body improve in its resiliency, in its strength, in its power, in its bounciness to make you a better runner and be safer when running. Now before we start getting into the exercises themselves, when we talk about running shoes, we always think about something like this. You get some nice cushion here, bigger heel, a little bit slightly less through the front. And these shoes are meant to give you a lot of cushion when you're running over pavement. And these are not the best shoes when you do strength training. So make sure you use something a little flatter, because that's going to give you more balance. These other cushions are going to be like standing in a balance pad. You're going to be struggling with balance as it is, or just do it shoeless. Let's talk about a little bit about the foot maintenance real quick, because that is very important. When we're running, it's very repetitive motion. It's literally like just two movement patterns, left step, right step when we run. And the feet are going to take a lot of beating. So when you are running a lot, you want to make sure you're also taking care of your feet a lot. So you want to use something like a golf ball, or maybe a short PVC pipe, like a 1 inch in diameter, works really well. So you can massage the bottoms of the feet so you can roll them out. And the PVC pipe, why I like it better than a golf ball, would be because you can get into the sides, into the edges of the feet, which can get very beat up and they don't get as much attention. So make sure you do that. Now the very first thing you can do to improve your running is actually do some jump roping. Now when we think about strength training, a lot of times people are not very strong using one limb at a time, especially with bodyweight exercises. So we increase their strength by training both limbs at a time, and then maybe we do some stagger stances. Same thing with the lower body. So we do regular squats, we go into single leg squats type of deal, but we're building up from using two limbs to one. It's the same thing when we think about running and jump rope. Is when you're jump roping, you're both feet and you're bouncing, you're getting this jump motion. It's not very high, but it builds up that bounciness, that springiness. It also builds up that impact with both feet sharing that load of your body instead of one foot at a time when you do running. So that's something really good you can do inside. That one, wear shoes, because you don't want to jump rope to hit your toes. It hurts a lot. So jump rope is really good. Another reason why jump rope is really good is it does train your aerobic system really well. If it's been a while since you've last jump roped, make sure you try it out 1 minute, then try 2 minutes at one time. See if you can keep going. Usually by 2 minute mark, most people are already gassed. So okay, guess what? We're working that heart, we're working the lungs. And those are two really good components to train if you want to run faster, if you want to run longer and better. Our cardiovascular, pulmonary system should be better so we can enjoy running and not just suffer through it. Okay, so now we are going to go into exercises that more directly impact your running. Things like your feet, your legs, your hips. Those are the main engines when we run. So first up here, we're going to work on the ankles. So all I'm going to do first is get onto one side of my shoe as far as I can here, and then slowly press back. The knees stay fairly straight, and I can just alternate here. Now as we're stretching the outside of that foot, ankle, shin, we're also putting weight into that. So I'm not shying away from this, but I'm going only as much as I can handle here. Now for those, if you get comfortable doing those and you can get pretty far where it's almost 90 degrees sole of the shoe with the floor, we can work into doing both legs at the same time, which actually makes things a little harder because now we're putting a lot of tension into the outsides. And notice on this one, I have to bend my knees. So for leg strength, we're going to get into the quads and glutes at the same time here. One foot is forward, one foot is back, we work into some split squats. Now if this is pretty easy for you, we can make it into a reverse lunge. And if those are easy for you, we start going into an airborne lunge. Where now I'm trying to get my knee to the floor with that back foot staying off the ground. And that puts a lot more stress through that quad and the glute at the same time. All right, the next one here, we're gonna get now into the hamstrings and glutes. We're standing on one leg, the other leg is off the ground. We're gonna reach that back and we reach forward with that same side arm. We're trying to get as horizontal as possible here with the torso. There is slight knee bend on that standing leg as we reach back. You can always grab a weight on this side too to make things harder. But that one's really great because not only are you getting ankle, foot stability work, you're getting hip stability work, being able to rotate. Because what we want to do is that elevated hip not to open like this, but we want to rotate the hip downwards. There, not here, down. The glutes get very underutilized when we run because we become so quad centric through a lot of seating and stairs that we take and whatnot. So we want to make sure we learn how to use the glutes. That way, when we run, we explode through the whole lower body system. So that covers some of the static strength that we can do for the legs. Now we want to get into a little bit more explosiveness with a single leg jump. And what we're going to do first is go from one leg to the other, absorbing the impact of that. So we're going to go from one leg standing there, control the balance. We're going to take off sideways, absorb, and go. So we're always softly landing. That way our body knows how to absorb our impact, just how we have to absorb when we go into full running. Now you can go a little higher when you do these. You can also go up and sideways when you do them, but we're also learning how to stabilize from that impact that we need when we run. Another great exercise we can use for power is skipping. Now skipping gets you into this counter movement of the body, so you can incorporate that into running and be more springy and fluid when you run. The heels of the feet stay off the ground as we skip, and notice how short the strides are. It's almost like we're landing feet side by side. All right, now when we think about running, we always think about legs, feet, all that stuff, but there's actually a lot that goes on through the whole torso. So I'm going to show you some plank variations you might not be doing that are going to be very helpful for you. So we're going to get in a side plank position on the forearm. Top leg is forward. Now make sure to keep the hips down. We're going to cup the top ear with that free hand and rotate, exhaling as we come down. So inhale up, exhale down. A lot of problem people do with this one is the hips hike up to bring the elbow down. Don't do that, because now you have to rotate from this upper spine in order to get the side plank rotation. And a lot of people don't realize this, but when we run, we should have this shoulder motion, thoracic spine motion as we run. It's not locked like this and then just moving the arms and legs. We're gonna have some fluidity up here while we're running. It's not as noticeable as I'm doing it, but it does happen. Then the second plank variation we're gonna do is a reverse plank. Now this one gets all the muscles on the back side of the body. So from sitting, we put both forearms down, heels on the floor, and we bring the hips up, open the chest, looking at the sky or the ceiling. Now, the more I bend my knees, the easier this becomes. If it's still too hard, we find a bench or a couch you can elevate the forearms on. And we're working all the muscles on the backside that you do not see in the mirror, which are very important muscles to keep you long and upright as you're running, that support your torso.